Hello and welcome. In today's exciting episode, I show you yet more half-made dresses.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
Now, I did intend for this episode to be one where I made a vintage dress from start to finish, but I faffed around half making some other things for a little bit too long, and then I had some other work to do, and in the time I'd allotted to make a vintage dress. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to look at all the half-made dresses that I've been wasting my time on in the past few weeks. These are the ties and sashes that I've made to go along with some of the dresses. Some dresses have two, some just have one, and some I didn't have enough fabric to do any. But it gives you an idea. See, those two are for the same dress, and like a couple of the beige ones are the same dress, and that orange one I had enough to do a really thin long one, and so one's like a hair tie and one's a belt for a lot of the time, but also some of them have two fabrics in them, like this one, the beige one, has two different fabrics. So I can wear one as a sash around the waist and one as a hair tie, because I usually wear my hair up in a bun, sort of a messy bun, and you can wrap a hair scarf just around the front and just have the bun sticking out the top. So anyway, let's get on to the actual dresses. And so these are, goodness me, this green one here was the mock-up of the vintage Vogue V9106, and gosh, I think I made this in October, because I was trying to work out whether I could do because I made a couple of changes to it, because it was like a shirt. The top was like a shirt. So yeah, I just made a mock-up just to check whether it worked, and it did really well. So I just have to make a lining for that. And this one, my first Christmas dress, the first episode in December, was the Scandinavian print. It was my gateway to Christmas fabrics, and I made that dress up. It's a Butterick one, 6677, and I made it, and the last step is to put elastic in, and I put the elastic in and I really didn't like it. So then I made this one up without the elastic, and I like it so much more. But the thing is, this one doesn't have, I made it the way you're supposed to according to the pattern. So it doesn't have lining. And just to do the top, you use bias binding. And I did it properly and everything, but I just don't like it. I much prefer a lined bodice. So I think I'll unpick that carefully and add a lining to it, because I will just wear it so much more if it's got a lining to it. And I think I'll also sew up the back bit, and so it's just pull off over your head and pull it on, and you don't have to do up a button. And then this one, I think I'm going to do the same thing. This one has pockets. I just put a waist tie in there so you could see that it actually has pockets. So this is the original Ruby dress. It has 3 tiers as the skirt of the dress. The sleeves are from a shirt dress. And unfortunately, the back is still requires a button. And I just hate it. Whenever I have dresses with a button at the back, I always forget and put my scarf on and then pull it forward, or put my jacket on or my coat on, and the button stabs into my spine, and it's just so painful. So I think I'll take this apart, undo these seams that you can see here, and sew the outer bodice as one, the lining as one, and then just redo the neckline so that it's just a pull on, pull off one without any buttons. This beige one is the Scandinavian candy cane. As you can see, I've got the sleeves pinned to it. So it's basically all done. The lining's in. I just have to sew on the sleeves, which is quite easy for me to do. And I've already even hemmed them. So yeah, I don't know why I haven't finished this one. It's ridiculous. This is the one I did immediately after the ruby one. The ruby one, because it had those pockets, you had to sew it together a very specific way. So this one I made without pockets, and it takes up a lot less fabric, and also it's just loads easier to make. And I always wear dresses like with either a hoodie or a coat over the top. And I have a handbag as well. So there's loads of pockets. And this 1950s vintage holly one is the same cut. And then next after that, and there's equally not very much to do to finish that one either. Then next is the navy with the gold metallic on it. And I absolutely love this one. It's only 3 yards of fabric. And I made the skirt out of the whole 3 yards. And then, but it didn't take the whole width of the fabric selvage to selvage, so I cut off a little bit off the whole 3 yards, and then I used that to make this bit, which is why there's seams in the centre front and centre back. So yeah, I basically have to do the finish the shoulders and put in the zip and hem it, and that's about it. If I'd been going to a party for New Year's Eve, I absolutely would have worn this one because it's such a pretty dress. And it's not that spectacular, I guess, but it's nice enough to be, you know, if you wear the right shoes and the right coats or whatever and wear your hair up nice, it's going to be perfect. And then next was the Dr. Seuss one here. Oh, I did have that red candy cane one in the vintage red fabric, but it's inside out and I can't turn it in the right way until I sew the next few bits. So I'm not going to put that on a mannequin. But yeah, and then there's this teal Halloween Dr. Seuss fabric. It kind of looks like pajamas a little bit just because of the way the colours are. But yeah, with this one, so with the previous ruby dresses, I hadn't changed the top tier. It was still quite thin, but with this top tier, it's too selvage to selvage. It's 2 strips of fabric, so it's actually quite wide, and then I've just pleated it down. So when you tie the sash or the tie at the waist, it sort of has this really nice sort of sticks out, and it allows you to twirl much better. And so then I made the vintage fairy lights. They're all different lengths. So the Dr. Seuss one is 5.5, 6 yards. This one is 4 yards of fabric. And then the navy, white and grey one, which is just behind it, is 3 yards of fabric. But they're all essentially the same dress, just with slightly, you know, more excessive amounts of fabric depending on the length of the cut of the fabric that I had. So yeah, I love all 3 of those dresses. They're absolutely fabulous. I think I might do a teal lining for the Dr. Seuss one, but the other ones, I think I'll use black lining because, yeah, I know some people don't like navy and black to mix, but I find that a black lining on navy things works for me. And then this one is the cotton sateen one. I really like this one. Cotton sateen, the other fabrics have been quilting fabric width, so they're not quite that wide. They're sort of, yeah, that one is not really that wide, whereas the cotton sateen is much wider. So, you know, when you read the back of a sewing pattern, there's a wide width of fabric and a thinner width of fabric. This is the wide one. And so, yeah, I think the skirt here I did, the top tier is only 1 width, but because it was so much wider, it seems wider. And then the bottom tier of the skirt is twice as much. But I mean, I like it, but I don't know. It's impressive considering I only had 2 yards of this fabric. It's an impressive dress that I made out of it. But yeah, I kind of wish it was a little bit longer. I love super long dresses, so yeah. I guess it's nice the way it is. I think I just need to press it and hem it, and then it'll have enough weight once I've put the hem in. And yeah, it'll be fine. But it just, I don't quite like it the way it looks at the moment. I think because that fabric reminds me of the Valentino collections from 2015 or 14. And they were the really, really, really long dresses. I think that's what it might be what it is. Anyway, let's move on. The metallic starry one, yeah, it's still just a top. It's a bodice, but it kind of looks like a crop top at the moment. And yeah, I think I'm going to do a plain black skirt for that one. Nice and full one. And then we have the patchwork dress. I absolutely love this dress. It needs a lining, and I need to finish the cuffs of the sleeves, and I need to even out the hem, and then turn up the hem and hem it, the skirt of the dress as well. And then next we have, it's so cute. Next we have this one. I just think it's too short. I mean, I love it and it's adorable, but I don't think I'll wear it when it's this short. I have this pale blue fabric. It's plain, so I think I might make sleeves and I'd band another tier to the skirt, and maybe a blue, so there it is, and maybe a blue sash to go around it as well. And then with the sash that I've got here, I guess I could just keep that as a hair tie, or I could undo it and sort of make a ribbony thing around the bottom tier of the skirt just to tie it in if it looks like it doesn't tie in. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to wear it. I'm always going to wear like a top and a pair of like yoga pants underneath anyway, so I don't know. I'll just leave it on the rack until I decide. And then the tulip one, only one of them is pinned up, so I need to pin up both sleeves and hand stitch the hems down, as well as the hem of the skirt. So basically, this one is done, almost. Oh, and it also needs a lining. Of course it does. The one on the left is the mustard one. Last time you saw this, it didn't have the sleeves on, but now it does. I kind of miss it. When it had the singlet top, it was just so adorable, but it's also incredibly pretty like this. So, I mean, I kind of miss it the way it was, but this is just adorable. It is so pretty. And I've got the tie matching the top as well, so it sort of looks like I'm wearing a peasant top over a bohemian skirt sort of thing. So I really, really love this one, and I'll probably most often wear it with the Chanel brown cowboy boots. So yeah, I think this is just so adorable, and I love how full the skirt is. So I did have another tier of the skirt, but I missed it out, and I just did tier 2 and tier 3. So this middle tier is actually 4 lengths of fabric, selvage to selvage, sewn together, and the bottom one is 8. So, and the top tier of the skirt was going to be just 2 tiers of 2 selvage to selvage lengths of fabric. So yeah, I really like it the way it is. And then the tulip one on the right is 4 bits of fabric, selvage to selvage, just in one tier. So yeah, I quite like both of those, but as I said in a previous video, I would like this tulip one better if it was a little bit longer. And yeah, so that's why I'm sort of putting off doing the hem, because yeah, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe instead of just hemming it, I could put on another sort of stripes of fabric. So like a navy stripe and a white stripe and a black stripe to lengthen the whole thing. Maybe. I don't know. Next, we have the two beige ones. You've seen the longer of the two with the big puffy sleeves. That one was actually supposed to be even longer. So it's a midi length, but it was supposed to be a maxi length. See this beige tier here in that one? That was supposed to be tier 1 of this skirt. And this skirt was supposed to have 3 whole tiers. But yeah, the beige, I just decided to make it with this way because I really like the other one that I did, the Sophia Loren sort of one, the mustard one. So I did it like that, and then when I finally found that other first tier, I put it in this one because this one here is supposed to be the same length as that apricot one. But yeah, that apricot one was just too short for me. If you see it up close, you can see how they both have sage. They both have a sort of mauvey purple colour in there. And the, beigey creams in there as well. But I'm thinking of, I don't know. I have 2 other purples. I don't know. They're a bit bright purple though. I kind of want to do something to add more. Maybe add a big Peter Pan collar and puffy sleeves and a bottom tier on the dress. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a sort of sage green. I've got a sage green or a dark green. I don't know. I just feel like it needs something else. Anyway, moving on. So next we have the apricots. This one is the 70s fabric, but in peach and orange. And then I had 2 yards of this peachy one. I think I had 3 yards of that sort of 70s one, 2 yards of this. And I think again there's an extra, so this 2 yard bit, I basically cut it into 4 half-yard selvage to selvage pieces, and they are the middle tier of the dress. And yeah, I think there was another tier, but I didn't end up putting it in. And I really like it the way it is. And then the other one, the blue and sort of peachy one over on the left, that was going to be completely different. It was supposed to see the blue that's on the desk? It's on the sideboard. So it was supposed to be bluish at the top and then this darker blue tier and then another tier, and I think it's supposed to have 3 tiers, this skirt. I can't remember. Anyway, it was supposed to be all florals with navy blue backgrounds, and I ended up, I think, the other 2 tiers that I didn't use are here out of that fabric, so I can basically make a whole dress out of that fabric there. And I ended up using this leftover mustard tier, and because I absolutely love that fabric. And these two they happen to be in the box together, and I was like, I have to make a dress out of these two. They just make each other, they complement each other so well. And I love this fabric because it's got a frog in it. I mean, it's got loads of pretty butterflies and flowers and parrots in there, but the frog is my absolute favorite. Yeah, it's so pretty, and it's so much prettier with that peachy fabric as breaking up the 2 blue bits. I love it so much. It's just so completely different than what I had planned, but I absolutely love it, especially with the tie. Next are those 2 are just tops at the moment. It's a little ridiculous because because the other one turned out so different than I had planned, and these 3 dresses were kind of the same situation. So there were bodice in one colour, then a 3-tier maxi skirt to make up the rest of the dress. So I sort of didn't do them because at this point I just really liked how the dresses looked with only the 2nd and 3rd tier of the skirts and not the 1st tier. But yeah, you can't really, these two dresses are only made out of one fabric, so two fabrics. So this one here was made out of 3 different fabrics. So yeah, again, I sort of skipped a tier, but it kind of worked out with this one because I had 3 completely different fabrics that are still present. And the tier that I took out was the top tier of the skirt, and it was going to look exactly like the bodice. And it actually looks better the way it is now. But yeah, with the other 2 ones that I have only done the tops of, they're only alternating 2 fabrics. So oh, look how wide that skirt is. It is so fabulous. It's such a good thing to twirl in. And a lot of you keep asking me if I ever try on the dresses when they're half made. Of course I do. And before they're finished, of course I do. I play dress ups with anything. But yeah, so and of course, sometimes I do wear dresses out that I haven't hemmed, but yeah, I'm not one of those people who makes dresses for a certain event. I usually dress down at events just because, yeah, I just don't want to be the center of attention. But yeah, these are dresses that I just wear around. But yeah, so I think anyway, so the green one and the black and orange one, I think I'm going to do all 4 tiers of those. So bodice, then alternate fabric for the first tier, then second tier is going to be the same as the bodice, and then the bottom tier. But that said, I really love the green one that I made. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, so that's how I'm going to do those 3 dresses. And then next we have, oh my God, these look so 1980s. I know I don't know anything about the 1980s. I mean like movies that the 1980s are set in. And but yeah, that's what they look like to me, those sort of drop-waisty dresses with the big sleeves. Anyway, so these are so funny. The red one, it was supposed to have another tier. So the first tier of the skirt was supposed to be that purpley floral fabric, but I didn't use it, and I'm so glad I didn't. It looks so much better with roses, and then black and pink at the bottom tier. The sleeves are, I don't know, I think they're a little bit long, but I also kind of like them that way. I did make a red tie, and I did tie it on, but it just looked, it was too much. It needs to be broken up with a green one or a black one or a solid green one. It just needs something other than red. But yeah, on this dress, however, with the magenta skirts, it's got, as you can see, I cut out 3 tiers for the skirt, but I only ended up doing the 2 tiers, and I regret it. I really regret it. I think this one would look better if I unpicked it and added in the top tier, I think. I don't know. Because I feel like it's not quite long enough, and it looks a bit too 1980s. But I love this floral up here. I don't think it would have suited the red dress, so I'm glad I didn't use it in that. But yeah. Oh, this is it with the plain green sash. It looks gorgeous. See, now I kind of like this skirt length, especially if I wear like my black Marc Jacobs motorcycle boots with it. They're sort of like, go right up to sort of mid to high calf, then I think that would look really cool. So anyway, yeah, I'm sort of talking myself into and out of things here. But anyway, next 2 dresses, we have the red and pink one. And that is that was 4 yards of fabric. And yeah, so I used like half a yard to do the bodice and the sleeves, and then the rest I cut into 3 or 4 sections, and I made the skirt out of that. So it's like the tulip one, but a little bit longer, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And yeah, it is so pretty. And then this one, it's a much wider fabric. It's the much wider fabric, like a cotton sateen. And it's also very see-through, this fabric, but I absolutely love it. It's because it was so wide, I only needed 2 widths of selvage to selvage. And yeah, so basically I cut out the bodice and the sleeves, and then with all the remaining fabric, I evened them off, cut them in half, cut it in half, selvage to selvage, and then yeah, made it into a skirt. And I do have another bit. So yeah, this cut here on the bench is the exact same as this other sage green one. So yeah, because I think this sage green dress that I just made with only 2 bits in the skirt, I think if I made it into 3 bits, it would be a much fuller skirt, because I love the red and pink one. It is such a full skirt. Whereas this one, it's kind of modest. It's nowhere near as full, the skirt. It's, yeah. And this is me trying to show you how see-through it's just a little bit transparent. I'm not sure if you can tell. But yeah, you can sort of see through. I'm going to wear, most of the time I just put a dress over what I'm wearing anyway. So yeah, I'll be wearing trousers, yoga pants and a top on underneath it anyway. This fabric, I mean, I love the way it looks, and the cotton that it's made out of is really beautiful. But the quality of the print, though, like the actual printing application isn't the best. It's got these white spots where the print ink sort of stuff didn't take properly. So I don't think that's going to age well. So I'm glad I only bought enough of that fabric for one dress. But I mean, it looks beautiful, but then you get up close and you're like, ugh, that's a cheap. The actual cotton fabric is nice. It's going to last for ages. But I mean, look at the quality of this print here. This is a Sally Kelly print. And that is gorgeous. It's the whole life of that fabric. It's going to look beautiful and vivid. Whereas this, it's just going to fade and get more blotchy with every wash. So I am a little bit disappointed in that, but I'm still going to wear it. And then we're nearly at the end here. Next we have I love this red one. I love it so much. This is the Scandinavian Christmas Village. So it's Scandinavian Christmas fabric. And yeah, I just love this. But I broke it up it was only 3 yards. And I love the ruby dress when it's made out of 4 yards of fabric. So yeah, I had 1 yard of the red rose fabric. So I just added that in as the top tier of the skirt. And I love this dress so much. It's just absolutely gorgeous. That is the ideal length of dresses for me. The really long ones that you sort of have to kick out as you walk. I absolutely love it. I think after I finished all these dresses, I think the next wave of dresses that I make will not have as puffy as sleeves. Because with this one, I don't know, it was really hard that's an unfinished shirt. I've still got several unfinished shirts as well that I have to finish. Just need to put the collar on them, basically. The collar's all cut out, and yeah, I just haven't done it. But yeah, with these dresses, you can put like a t-shirt and a long sleeve t-shirt underneath them, which is cool. But then the only thing you can wear over the top of them is either a hoodie or like a big jacket, a big coat. So that's a bit of a pain. I think, yeah. Oh, and this is me showing you what I'm actually going to make next. So I'm going to, yeah, what the next episode I make on the weekend, I'll have time to make a vintage dress. I really want to make this one because the top and the skirt, they're all in one bit. So see how in this one it's got a bodice and then a separate skirt? Well, with this one, it's just one piece. And yeah, which is very cool. But then do I line it, like fully line it? Because you can't just line the bodice when it's a whole one-piece dress. So yeah, I don't know whether to, and I hate just having facing. I just really, really hate it. It makes it me feel like I'm wearing fast fashion. See, this one's easy because it's got the cropped bodice. You basically just do the lining for the bodice and then you can line the skirt if you want, but you don't have to always do that. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would much prefer to have it fully lined, but it is a bit of a pain. Oh, and I keep getting loads of comments saying you must be so tall. No, I just have very, very, very tiny shoulders. But my hips are bigger than the mannequin's hips. So, it's just, I think it's also the angle that because I've got them on top of storage boxes. So I think it's also the angle that I'm shooting at. And the fabric up in the right-hand corner, it's just the light kept reflecting badly off the lamp. So I just covered it with fabric. So that's why it's there. And these are my scraps. So the reason I've been making all those dresses or half making them is so that I can get the scraps. And this is my scrap collection. There's a big bag of ones that I haven't sorted yet, or they're sort of vaguely beige-ish or pastel, but these ones are all sort of sorted. There's the blue and pink florals, there's the mustard one, there's the reds, which is that one there. It's also got Christmas stuff in it, but it's on the other side. I've got a tiny little purples one, but I've also got if I don't use the that magenta layer, and I also have that other sort of magenta and purple fabric, I think that will also go in there. So yeah, if I put them in the purple one, then it's not looking too shabby. And then there's the orange and pink one. And once I've got enough patches, I want to make this dress here, which has got 4 yards. But when you make it with patchwork, there's so many seams, like so much of your fabric gets eaten up in seam allowance. So I think I'll probably need 6 yards to make a 4-yard type dress, if you get what I mean, just to, make sure I have enough. So I put 6 yards of fabric. This coral is 6 yards of fabric in a bag, just so that I know what it looked like and how heavy it was. So I've got a couple of, like the mustard ones getting pretty damn close, and the blue and navy one and the green bag, they're all pretty close to being enough to make a dress. But I think I will try and use up as many of these fabrics as I can. So I've sort of worked out that each month I can only make a couple of vintage dresses. So I think I'll sort of keep aside all the ones for each month, and then with the rest I'll make the ruby dresses, because I will absolutely, if I had 200 ruby dresses, I would wear 200 ruby dresses because I just love them. So I think I'll do that and sort of at least cut them out now, and because they're just so pretty. And I think I'll do that, and then I'll be able to use up all the scraps. And once I have enough of each colour, then I'll sew them all together and make a dress out of the scraps as well. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you had fun looking at all my half-made dresses. And on the weekend, I will definitely be making, I think I'll have time to make both of the vintage dresses. So yeah, you'll see one video probably on Sunday and the next, further on in the week. But so thank you for watching, and I'll see you later when I make another vintage dress, start to finish. it'll be the first thing this year that I'm actually finishing.